Eternal King here, bringing you another gaming video today. So I wanted to do an Isometrics tier list. This whole idea kind of came to me when we were talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Like, what are the best Isometrics available? So first up, let's talk about Pillars of Eternity 2. Pillars of Eternity 2 is one of my favorite Isometrics to replay on Steam Deck. Something about that very specific combination of a game that feels a lot like Baldur's Gate, but then also has that Sid Meier's Pirates combination, and then also has these sort of storybook pen and paper interactions, and then those three things together felt very, very compelling to me as a fan of Isometrics. It felt like a love letter. Pillars of Eternity 2, just such a great game. Honestly, I know there are people that prefer Pillars of Eternity 1. I'm a Pillars 2 guy all the way. I think it's just a better game overall. There's more subclasses, the systems are better fleshed out, and then you have that whole pirate ship thing sailing around the world or the Caribbean, and then essentially taking the questing content at your own pace. I really love that system. Next up, we have Pathfinder 2. Pathfinder 2, best RPG mechanics in an isometric game ever, and some of the best storybook pen and paper interactions in an isometric RPG ever. That's just fundamentally true. You cannot argue with the fact that Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is just one of the best games ever made. Roleplay as an angel, as a devil, as a swarm of locusts, as a necromancer, just like, there's so many like out-of-the-box things you can do in this game that it's very rare that I'm genuinely surprised in a video game anymore at my age. And Pathfinder 2 made me feel like a kid again because it allowed me to do things I didn't think was possible in video games anymore. So, you know, Pathfinder 2, just like one of the best realizations of pen and paper ever put in existence in a video game. Fallout 1 and 2, they're great games. Obviously, anything made by Obsidian just gets like a free pass from me. And I don't really need to talk about Fallout very much. Fallout is essentially a multi-million-dollar franchise now that you can find on Amazon Prime, and it's because of these games. It's because of this. It's not because of what Bethesda brought to the table. It's because of what Obsidian brought to the table. So I will always rate their games pretty highly. Tyranny, I think, is a very functional Obsidian game in regards to feeling a lot like a Pillars of Eternity game, but it's based in the Roman Empire. It's a little different. And so it's very fun to play, but it's just one that I've never felt personally compelled to play again. And I feel the same thing about Pillars 1, where it's like I would never play Pillars 1 over Pillars 2. Pillars 2 is a more complicated game. It's a better realized game across the board. Tides of Numenera, just don't play it. Don't play it, period. Now, of course, the original, though, the original Planescape Torment, like one of the best games ever made, ever. It's basically a novel in a video game form, and your appreciation of that is going to depend on how much you like fantasy books, because honestly, playing this is like reading a book. If you're not into that, you're not going to enjoy this video game, because it's less of a video game than it is an interactive storybook, and it's just paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of dialogue. I would say that Dragon Age Origins is actually a pretty good video game. Dragon Age Origins, honestly, is not bad. It was literally, before we had the kind of resurgence of isometrics, we were basically just had Dragon Age Origins, and that was it. For like a solid 10 to 15 years, we had nothing else. Baldur's Gate 2, magnificent. Irenicus is one of the best villains in a video game ever, not just one of the best villains in an isometric ever. This is going to be a hot take. I think that Baldur's Gate 1 is average. I think Baldur's Gate walked so that Baldur's Gate 2 could run. The City of Alm, essentially doing higher level questing content with higher impact. So that's, you know, just kind of my feeling. And to be fair, I'm going to say the same thing about Pathfinder 1. Pathfinder 1 is very similar to Baldur's Gate 1. Pathfinder 1 walked so that Pathfinder 2 could run. And then you have things like Neverwinter Nights and Icewind Dale. It's just not really, we're not going to really talk about these games. Again, they kind of ended the lineage of isometrics. So like it's very hard for me to feel good about Neverwinter Nights and Icewind Dale when they essentially spelled the beginning of the end. So I'm almost kind of resentful to them for killing isometrics. And then, obviously, Baldur's Gate 3 is great. Baldur's Gate 3 is a great game. While I do think that it's a little worse than Pathfinder and 2 and Pillars 2. That's just my take. But that's my tier list for